Hello, this is Chris Coffey, Instructional Technology Coach. In this video, I'm going to give you some ideas about how to use websites for students. So I've already created a fake website here, and in it I added some pictures and some text. There's not a lot of new elements to websites. If you're familiar with Google Docs or Google Slides, you'll insert images and text roughly the same way. Like if I click on the text box, I've got the option to put in text, and the text editor bar that comes up is very similar to what you would find in Google Docs. So I could change the font, I can change the size, I can resize the box and then move it around however I need to. Okay, and if I don't need it, then I can just move it away and delete it. Oops, there we go. And the biggest thing about websites that you really have to pay attention to is hyperlinks. So if I click on this image, you can see I have it linked to a page called Portfolio, and the same thing with the terms. So all you have to do with that is once you've inserted an image, and you can insert image, you can upload it, or you can select it, you can get it from your Google Drive, or you can search, or if you have the URL, anywhere you would normally get an image. But once that image is in there, you can click on links and you can choose whatever page you want it to go to, or you can copy and paste a URL from just another website. So I've already done this and I went ahead and published. So let's look at the publish site. So this would be what the student shares with you and with people, other students, parents, however you wanted to use it. But just giving them the opportunity to share their work is a great way to keep the assignments interesting and making sure that the students have a good reason to do their best work. It's not just for a grade. So let's go ahead and look at their best work, and we click on this and it takes us to the portfolio page, and it may take a second to load, but here's that best presentation. Now this is just a Google slide. In the best writing, this is going to be, I think this one's a PDF, but it can be a doc or a PDF. Notice this is the announcements from the high school, and this is just a board agenda. But you get the idea. The students could choose their best work and put as many things in here as they wanted to. Some other things that you can do is break up the instructions to different assignments, to where instead of just submitting the work to you, they actually put together their own unit. So I've got unit 1, and some ideas here are learning blogs, reviews, and additional information. So with learning blogs, you could literally just kind of give them an exit ticket every day. Write what you learned about today, or give them a writing prompt for each day, and then they can just kind of keep adding to their learning blog. So at the end, they kind of have summed up everything you've done throughout the semester. You could also go in and do a review. This one I really like because this is not only good for learning the content or reviewing the content as they're making it, but this is a great way for them to study. So I gave 2 ideas here, vocabulary words and main ideas. So you could give them, main idea questions or primary vocabulary words that they would put in each one of these sections. And notice it's got this little pull down arrow. When I click on it, I can show the definition, or I can hide the definition. So I can kind of quiz myself or share this with a fellow student, a classmate, and kind of let them see how well they do on my review. So this is kind of a neat one. The last one is one that kids actually get involved with a lot. You always have a few high flyers who finish way early, and they need to be able to dive a little bit deeper. So for this, I'm going to do additional information. And as you can see right here, let it all come up. I've added a link. If I click on this, it will redirect me to a CNN news report about the All-Star game. I can say, oh, well, the All-Star Game is supposed to be in Atlanta. Here's a map of where it is. They haven't come out with a promo yet, but here's the 2015 promo. So, we can play that, and there's a lot of cool things that you could do. And this is additional information. So that kid who wants to learn more about science or the book that you're reading or about a historical event or whatever, they could go and dig deep and then share that with their classmates, share that with the public. It's really kind of a good way to keep them occupied versus just going, oh, you're done, find something to do. This gives them something that's related to the content that will kind of take them to the next level. So those are the ideas. Let's quickly go over how to do this. The main page, this is going to be very simple, as all you have to do is insert text boxes and images. I'm going on the assumption that if you're watching this video, you've already gone through some of the trainings for website design. With Google Sites, it's very easy. If you haven't been through some of those trainings, please keep an eye on the training schedule and try to come to one of them, because it's a great resource. And like I said, very easy to use. So this home page is nothing but a few images and some words. Not much to it. But then I link to new pages. I come to pages, and so you can see I've done my portfolio page and I've done Unit 1, but if I wanted to add Unit 2, I'd come down here, type in Unit 2. Notice it tried to put it under Unit 1. I don't want that, so I'm going to move it up here first, and then I'm just going to move Unit 1 above it. So you want this as a main page, and then below Unit 2, I would click the little skinny snowman, and I would add a sub page, and it would be Learning Blog, and this is for Unit 2, so I can use the same title. Add subpage review, done. Add subpage, additional information. So now I have Unit 2 ready to go. For the Learning Blog, I'll show you exactly what I did. It's very simple. I would show the students how to use these layouts. And so I'm just going to do a couple of them right now. And every other one, I would just move the picture to the other side. So you can tell them, hey, I want an image that represents what we learned. I want today's date or topic. And then I want your description. And all they have to do is come in here and edit it. It's ready to go. Now, if you don't want that same big header, you can change the header type. I like to keep it kind of clean, but if you wanted to change the font, like I said, very similar to the text editor in Google Docs. You can find something that you like better. Give the students a little bit of choice. Make it interesting for them. They're going to be sharing this, so let them, have a little bit of say. So that's my learning blog for my students. For the review, those pull downs is this collapsible text. So here I could say vocab 1, vocab 1, and I'm just going to duplicate this a couple times. But I also want to resize it. That's way too big for just a vocabulary word and definition. So I'm going to resize them. And again, this is what you're teaching the students to do. So once you've kind of shown them how to do it, it's not going to be that hard. They can replicate this pretty quickly. Oops. Okay, so now I have my vocabulary. If I wanted to give it a heading, I could say, all right, I need a text box. Call it vocabulary. And instead of normal text, I'm going to make it a heading. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than that. I'm going to center it. Again, your students can play with this. The biggest thing is that they don't play with the aesthetics more than they do the content. The content is important. Oh, I could duplicate that if I wanted to, but what I really wanted to do is click on this background. I can change the background so it looks a little bit different as I go through. And then I could do the same thing for main idea questions. And then all you have to do is go into it, add your definitions, answer your questions. You're good to go. So that's the review. Last thing is the additional information page for Unit 2. And for this one, you could add pretty much anything that you wanted to. If you wanted an image carousel, you could add a bunch of images that related to your topic. You could add a YouTube video. With that, you can either search or you could paste in the URL if you already know where it's at. So I'll say All-Star Game and just do a quick search. So now I have a full list of all these different videos. I would suggest have your students looking at them on YouTube first and then copying the URL, because you never want to share something online unless you know what it is. So that's important. But you could also add things like your map or your calendars, all kinds of stuff. It's really cool what you can do with all these features. But one that a lot of people don't understand how you can use is this embed. There's a lot of code and stuff that you could do that's more advanced. We're going to keep it simple. But you could say, okay, I want to embed. And the embed code, like I said, we're going to leave alone for now. But by URL, so if I go to that website with the story about the NBA All-Star Game, I can copy the URL and paste it in here. And it says, okay, this is what it looks like. I can either do a whole page or I can do preview. I would suggest preview. You don't want it taking up your whole page. And then you can resize it to fit the page how you want it to. So if your kids have done research and they didn't use certain research in their presentations or a paper, they could still put all the articles, all the places online that they got their information from. So maybe this is not additional information. Maybe this is a works cited page. And I know this is not MLA, but it kind of gets students, especially younger students, in the habit of saying, hey, this is where I got my information. So these are all just little ideas, but two big benefits to this. When students know other people are going to be looking at their work, they're going to do a better job than if it's just for a grade. So that's a huge benefit. The other is this is the new version of a student notebook. You can add anything that the kids do digitally in here, and then they can share it out with the public. So hopefully this video has been useful. I will be having upcoming trainings on how to do this in a little bit more depth. So feel free to come to those or to join us virtually. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. And thank you for watching.